Our Chaudhary. This is a Saturday evening Indian football discussion here on my YouTube channel, Arunfoot, and welcome back. As I say, it's the 21st of December. It's a Super Saturday in the Indian Super League in which we saw Mumbai City win 1-0 against Chennaiyin FC in the early kickoff, and then in the evening kickoff, East Bengal Football Club continued their rise in the ISL table with a 1-0 against Jamshedpur FC. Yes, it is interesting. It is exciting in the ISL. And welcome back. And let's discuss not only ISL, but in generally Indian football, international football, what we want to speak about, the ups and downs that there are in football. That's well, to me, this is something. Let's see what happens. Just before I come to your observations and statements, let's quickly go through the league table, which of course looks very, very interesting at this moment because with nearly all teams, or not nearly, but most of the teams are having played 11 matches. The situation in the table is such. Mohun Bagan are top 26, followed by Mangaluru FC 24, FC Goa on 22, and Mumbai City on 20. Those are the top four at the moment. Odisha FC are on 19. Punjab FC and Jamshedpur FC both are on 18, but have a 10-goal difference because Punjab FC is +4 and Jamshedpur is -6. Both of the teams have only 11 matches. Northeast also on 11 matches have 15. Chennaiyin have already played 13 and have 15 points to their name. East Bengal now from 12 matches, 13 points. So this incredible run from Oscar Bruzon, 13 points from the last 5 matches. 12 points from the last 5 matches, 13 from the last 6. That would be the right way to say it. And then Kerala Blasters on 11 from 12, Hyderabad 7 from 11 matches, and Mohun Sporting are bottom of the table on 5 from 11, and they travel tomorrow to the Blasters. So therefore, that's the situation as it stands. Vishnu, what a player, literally dribbling each and every player. Guardiola. I know a lot of players rate him. I am one of those who still, who still have question marks in regard to him and other players. But again, if he does better, I will change my opinion. But I have my doubts in that. Good evening, Ishan. Hope you're enjoying your holidays week. Ishan, you know what? For people like myself who work in sports, it's never a holiday period in the sense of that. Yes, I might not be traveling and on the road, but have to got a lot of stuff to finish off and then prepare for the new year. Some interesting projects, even some non-football related projects to work on. But then I'm looking forward to the new year. And so, yeah, in the coming days, I'll also be meeting friends and other things. But overall, I am looking forward to this. Hi, Blue. League is completely open now. We need another winning streak to stay at top. Yes, Blue, this is what I said. If you teams who win 2, 3, 4 matches in a row, suddenly the whole situation changes, and therefore, Mohun Bagan had a great streak. As I said, East Bengal have also done well over the last few weeks, but also, Odisha has done well, Goa has done well, and of course, not to forget Mumbai City, 10 points from the last 4 matches. 3 goals scored, none conceded. That is, in my opinion, is impressive. And that's why suddenly Mumbai City FC are in the discussions and in the mix. Hi, Tennis India. Welcome back. By the way, good to see Indian referees did right decision. Yes, I think that's good to mention, Blue. We're not talking that much of the referees, even though, of course, in the afternoon we had that situation. Ryan Edwards, second minute, touched the ball. Could have been given as a pen for Mumbai City, but again, otherwise the referees did very, very well today. So it's a welcome sign, in my opinion. Hi, Rushabh, welcome back. Are you back in Germany? No, sir, you were in Spain when I last joined the stream, I think. Ishan, yes, that was last week. Returned last week, Wednesday. Feels like it's been quite a while, yeah, but last Wednesday and 11th, the returns have been here for the last 10 days. And better not to look outside at the moment. It's raining quite a bit. It's foggy. It's not the best of weathers, but it's at least not too cold. 7 degrees plus. So that's here for you, December in Germany in 2024. Did you see Indian football quality going down day by day or grassroots exposed in bigger stage? Murali, our grassroots is still not developed. So therefore, to mention grassroots, I think in the conversations of our development and bigger stage and all that stuff. In my opinion, makes no sense. So for me, at the bigger stage, it just exposes that we are not ready for the bigger stage. We hope we are ready for the bigger stage. Uh, um, so therefore, let's wait and see. In my opinion, Changte seems to be back into his Chennaiyin FC version where he simply couldn't score, did all the right things, looked promising at times, but no final product. Ishan, I agree with you, but I put in something. I felt in the first half at Mumbai City that overall the team was playing better. I felt today, for example, Brandon was in a much better form all over the field. Did tried a lot of things. Of course, not everything worked, but it's important for these players to do more. Vikram is now amongst it. Um, Nikolaos Karelis with a very opportunistic and smart goal, I have to say. As I say, small little things here and there, and that to me gives me promise. That things are getting better, and Changte tried his things today. Indirectly also set up the goal because he played the ball to Joel van Neef. So therefore, I take these small little things at the moment for Mumbai City, that they are ready to try and do things, and that's very, very important for them. Because be it Changte, be it the others, again, the defensive unit at Mumbai City is strong. But now one has to then look at, yeah, it is something which is he has to do better, right? He is one of our lead players in the national team, and he is the captain of Mumbai City FC. And he is his benchmark is on a different level. You would say you expect differently from a Sunil Chetri than you would expect from up and coming strikers. So therefore, the same thing applies to Changte as a winger. Again, he played as a winger, interswitched positions in the first half, and the second half was sometimes on the wing, sometimes in a more central position. So therefore, yeah, he has to do better. Is Punjab FC foreign defender fit? Will he play against us? Any update? Blue, nothing as such. Novoselic, I haven't heard anything. Didn't look good. The way his foot was, bandaged with ice the other day. So therefore, I would think that Novoselic will not be available against Mohun Bagan. But again, sometimes these injuries heal much, much faster than one thinks. So therefore, we'll have to wait and see what the injury status of Novoselic is. By the way, Mohun got 11 or 15 points without Greg in last month. Do you think it's decent? And do you think Greg couldn't solve our creativity problem? Um, 11 out of 15 points is decent. No, it's not decent. It's very, very good, Blue. And that's something, one needs to understand. Even Mohun was having problems with Greg, without Greg at the start of the season. The question is if Greg is the issue of the overall thing. I think it's about consistency of the whole team and about playing. And again, yesterday was sort of a game against FC Goa where I sometimes felt that FC Goa just wanted it a little bit more than Mohun Bagan to win that game. And that's why FC Goa got it over the line. And that is something which Mohun Bagan needs to try and find the best possible ways. But again, this is, if I take out the angle of the foreigners, I think a lot of Indian players are of a similar level. And if one, two, three players don't have their best of days, yeah, then it can become an issue. How Nanda is so poor with his decision making and first touches. Manak, what to add? First of all, welcome. Um, it's a problem. We have had now wingers. We can go through the whole list that someone is impressing you for today, and tomorrow you say he can't play football. And sadly, one will say that Nanda Kumar belongs to that class of footballers. Um, and the question is, um, yeah, it's always been there, and that first touch, sometimes you feel you can work around it, but that decision making is just there in the system. I don't know if he's going to get out of it, or is there a chance of getting out of it. I don't see that, right? So therefore, for me, there is no question about it. And all of these wingers, we've spoken of so many wingers that we think, oh, you know what, this guy is ready, this guy is going to do this guy is going to do that. And then they don't step up, and that's the challenge I feel, with these players, and with these Indian players, and therefore we'll have to wait and see. But Nanda belongs to that bunch of players. So let's see if we can do better. Right, 10 more than 10 minutes already in this live Indian football discussion. If you're new to the channel, welcome to Arun Foot. If you haven't, if you like what you're seeing, do leave a like behind. Share the content as well. 8 likes so far. And if you like to regularly come back and be part of the Arun Foot community here on YouTube, do subscribe to the channel. We stand now at 2,005 subscribers. So thank you very much. A couple of days back, we crossed the 2,000 mark. So small milestone, maybe for certain people, but for me, it's a big one. And thank you very much once again for that kind of a support. And yeah, keep on supporting Arun Foot here on YouTube. Finally, the squad East Bengal tried to build start of the season, paying off now, performing expected as per paper. Um, I think Harry. It was mentioned by the commentators today multiple times, and I agree to that. Is it's a question of mentality, and I feel that Oscar has brought a certain level of mentality to this team, which this team didn't have at the start of the campaign, and that is really, really, I have to say, really, really impressive to see what Oscar has been able to do with this team. But again, it doesn't surprise me because Oscar Bruzon has that quality. And I said, and I did a short video. When did I make that video? One second, let me check. About Oscar and East Bengal. So, in my opinion, it's a question of what you're going to do. And to me, Oscar Bruzon, a couple of weeks back, the positive Oscar Bruzon effect at East Bengal is a video that I did in short. Just watch it. I think that Oscar's bringing to the things, you know. Uh, some level of structure and organization and getting the best out of players. And the commentators were talking at length today about Clayton Silva, and Clayton Silva to me is a very good example at the start of the season, or even a few weeks ago. I think East Bengal fans were saying, you know what, Clayton Silva's time is over. He should go, he should leave. There's that everything. Yeah. So therefore, for me, um, he has turned not only this team around, he has turned around key players. But the question for him will be to avoid these yellow cards. You saw today again in the post-match interview, he was very unhappy with the Hector Yuste yellow card that Hector picked up because and I'm sure Oscar will have a word with Hector Yuste about the cards because he's realizing that those cards are becoming very, very costly for him and for the team. So therefore, yeah, and again, he's been a straight batter as well. He's spoken openly in public what I think he needs to say, and I think he's being even harsher on his team. But the team are accepting that, and the team are doing what he wants them to do, and therefore, East Bengal FC are one of the hot teams in the ISL at the moment. Irfan was so unlucky with that header, hit the crossbar. Hope he plays more like a proper striker. Will be really helpful in March window. Rushabh, he played well, but I think the interesting part is that Irfan is willing to accept it also now that he plays out of position. That was interesting to see. Also, his layoffs that he was trying to do for Chima Chukwu, and therefore, yeah, he looks a more complete player than he would have been 12 months ago. And again, let's hope so. Maybe that is the number 9 that we want, that we need. But he's doing a lot of good work and working for the team. This is what we need in a national team. Bruzon scored 13 out of 18 now. Yeah, Mainok, very well. Even though I remember I was there at the derby a couple of months back, and it's one of the worst matches that I've seen an East Bengal team play. Came in early in the morning, sat on the bench, and must have thought himself, "Oh God, what did I get myself into?" But he has done an incredible job, I think, and I've said that now multiple times. I think the AFC Challenge League has been a blessing in disguise for him and East Bengal to do the work, to do calmly, quietly, and to work on things. And if anyone says this team doesn't or didn't have talent, then I would have questioned them. But you need the right coach to take them to the possibilities that this team has. I think, as I said, I don't think they're going to be able to go for the league shield, but I think top 6 is what this team needs to aim for. It is a much better team. They have a much better coach. And again, let's hope so. Maybe that is the number 9 that we want, that we need in a national team. Irfan was so unlucky with that header, hit the crossbar. Hope he plays more like a proper striker. Will be really helpful in March window. Jamshedpur FC And therefore, yeah, the tests are going to come, but it's not going to be easy. Other teams are also finding their feet in this league now, so um, let's see what happens. But for Oscar Bruzon and for East Bengal, 13 points at this stage. If you look at where they were after 6 matches, they've come a long way. Any team in Europe surprised despite their stature, their achievements are still far below standard. Morally, that happens every season. Someone or the other falters. At the moment, most probably after today's loss to Aston Villa, we would have to say Manchester City. In Germany, most probably I would say Borussia Dortmund are below their level. And every league has this or the other team who is not performing. Are you liking Anwar Ali in this new CDM role? Yeah, Ishan, he can play that quite effectively. One has to say, um, and also as a right back. But again, I think from an Indian perspective, the question is if one of your so-called top centre backs has to now play defensive midfield or has to play right back rather than playing centre back because the coach prefers two foreign centre backs. That again raises a lot of questions, right? It's the same question as with our strikers who are playing in wide positions because normally Indian players do not play as central strikers. Hamza Chaudhary is now official with Bangladesh. Also, Kevin Sullivan, a biggest talent from the US, also in contact. He will go to Man City in 27. Shamit Shum, Yabate, Bangladesh might just qualify. Kevin Sullivan to me looks difficult. Um, Again, I think the US will put in a word. He's half Bangladeshi, half German, so I think the Germans will have a word about him as well. I think his older brother might be a topic for Bangladesh. But let's wait and see. Bangladesh, Hamza Chaudhary joining Bangladesh. I mean, I did a video about it yesterday. To me, is a big move for Bangladesh to get him finally to sign, it's not sign to get a Bangladeshi passport and to get him in. That's a big step for Bangladesh football. And it's good for South Asian football in the UK. It's good for South Asian football in general that we finally have someone who's playing in the Premier League in there. Sadly, it's not an Indian. Again, we can go on and on and on the players of Indian origin topic, but to me, clearly, it's a big step for Hamza and for Indian football, and therefore, sorry, for Hamza and Bangladesh football. But it's also big for Indian football because his likely official first match, maybe his first match, but it's surely his official first official match will be against India in India. So therefore, um, let's wait and see. But again, for us, it is very clear. This the topic of players of Indian origin is something which shouldn't be discussed anymore. There should be action on that. You said our basics and first touch poor. What about during old days? If we had similar problem, Henry Singh's would are it is system issue. Um, Baichung Bhutia once said one thing, Morali, and that sums it up. Baichung Bhutia learned in 1999 when he went to England that he learned how to trap a ball under Neil Warnock at Bury Football Club, who were a third-tier club at the time. So it's not a new phenomenon. It is whatever people tell us, Indian football this, Indian football that. There were certain things that were never taught to the kids in Indian football, which is the most normal thing, the most basic thing in other parts of the world, or kids learn it naturally. So therefore, was a problem and is a problem. KBFC ex-coach Store gave a Swedish channel interview. The KBFC manager said we have quality Indian players and foreigners, but understood the quality in 12 games, what quality they were saying. Um, it doesn't speak XYZ about the management, but it also questions about Mikkel Store's understanding of Indian football. This interview, if and a Swedish friend of mine has sent me that. To me, that interview is first of all damning for the Kerala Blasters, but it's also damning for Mikkel Store, in my opinion, because you are indirectly saying that you are not smart enough to understand what the standard of players you have at your disposal. That is what this interview actually says, and there, in my eyes, that is a worrying sign then about you rather than about the Kerala Blasters management. I don't know how you guys see it, but to me that says that you did not understand Indian football before you came down, and that means you did not do your homework before you came down. So, you know, any player in ISL caught your eyes, thinking he might be good national team candidate? I said Isaac Ralston. To me, is most probably the one. Again, we've got so many wingers, but that's the one that has really caught my eye so far this season. Yeah, Isaac Ralte would be. I think playing Sahal and Apuya in midfield is a blunder. Our mid got open because Sahal always loses position and the holding isn't there. Do you agree that Thapa Apuya is the best combo? It's the better combo. The question is, what do you want to do? If you want to give Apuya a little bit of space, maybe playing even Abhishek Suryavanshi or Deepak Tangri might be a better option. But Sahal, again, if you're playing Sahal, you know what you're going to get from Sahal. Sahal is uh, technically one of the most gifted Indian footballers that we have, but Sahal to me is not someone that I would play in that position of being a sort of a box to box player, because as you say, it's a problem because he's not the kind of player that can hold positions that uh, will drop down in a way and then move in, move out. He was never there and it will never come, and that's the sad part. But that's the reality, right? Good evening, Gion Rare. Good to see you after a week. So many yellow cards by important players may cost him now to play safer in future. 2, 4 cards you miss a game might see it often. It doesn't change at East Bengal. Harry, that's an important thing, and I think if you listen to Oscar Bruzon in the post match press conference, I think this is one of the things. Sorry, I'm using that word. It's pissing him off. He's really angry about it, and every time we talk about red cards and yellow cards and this and that, and therefore. Yeah, and he's not happy. And again, you saw that with that Hector Eustace yellow card. He's like thinking, he's arguing too much with the referee. And again, it's fresh. It's all refreshing, in my opinion, to see someone like Oscar Bruzon actually addressing the issues which are there, rather than saying, "Oh, you know what? No, this wasn't a yellow card. This and that." I think that is more stylish. Discuss it internally. If you're not happy with the referees, or if you're not happy with certain cards, you can address it internally. But he's being very very honest and very direct about these things. So let's see what is happening. Vikram gaining form game by game. Gonna be interesting if Manolo include him in national squad. Yeah, it's good to see, but he is still not back to his best form. So, same applies as I said earlier for Brandon, who I thought was much better today than in earlier games. Also, Manila doesn't change first team when we win for some reason, even if there are problems. Blue, he didn't even change teams when they were losing, right? So therefore, he is very defensive in his approach. Um, that's his way of doing things. I think he will not change. Uh, you know, um, you know. So let's see where it goes. Your final top six prediction. Ooh, and we're at the halfway stage. So I think for me, Mohun Bagan, Bangalore, Goa, Mumbai City, and likely Odisha are the top five. And there's a fight for the final spot. Would be my assumption. Punjab is going to be in there, Jamshedpur, Northeast, Chennai, and East Bengal. Let's see who the Blasters bring in. But I think it'll be a dogfight again for that sixth spot. Might be wrong, but I think, yeah, the others are going to move up. I think someone said in the live earlier today that the only change from last season is that instead of Kerala Blasters, BFC are in the top five. That's the only change if you look at it at the halfway, somewhat at the halfway stage. Again, and to me, Punjab, Jamshedpur are just too inconsistent. Even though Jamshedpur didn't need to lose today, but yeah, Punjab again also didn't need to lose against East Bengal, and those two are two losses, which is hurting these two teams. Otherwise, they would be actually above Mumbai City. They would be fourth and fifth, and East Bengal wouldn't be on 13 points. They would rather be on seven. So therefore, small little things can change it. Therefore, I say the run for Mumbai City, 3 out of 4 wins, 3-1 nils, might be better than actually winning with 3-4 goals, because it keeps the team on toes. The defensive unit is good, no goals conceded, and yeah, let's wait and see. We have fight is sublime, only 2 point difference now between table toppers and Chelsea. Premier League, yes, crazy, huh? What is happening in England here on Red. I'm sure SAF counterparts will improve by 20% due to their diaspora and all, but seeing us from 2018, I feel we won't be improving from one level. We may reach there, but our level, sorry, we may reach there, but improvement not so if we remain same. Harry, yeah, again, Sri Lanka already showing that they're better than they have been in the past. On the other side, uh, uh, Pakistan will be interesting to see. That's going to be interesting. What happens? And now Bangladesh, Nepal is going to do it as well. Mm, let's see. Kerala Blasters he will struggle to actually convince a good coach. 14 coaches in 10 years could be considered as a career suicide for coaches. Also, individual mistakes are something coaches can't do much. Bablu's animation, you would be surprised. And I said this also um, around the Indian national team when the job application became public. Um, that it doesn't matter. There are tons of coaches around who would love to come and coach Indian national team, would love to coach the Blasters. So is it a suicide or not a suicide? It doesn't matter. They will come and you will get applications. It is the tough task for the club is to find the right coach at this stage of the season to come in and maybe change something. You saw the difference that Oscar Bruzon has made to East Bengal. Of course, he lost the first two matches, but now, if you look, Moinok gave us the stats of the last six. He got 13 out of 18 points. That shows you the right coach can change results. And that is something which I said. If you look at the Blasters in the last two games against Mohun Bagan and against Bangalore FC, those are two matches that they both could have or maybe should have even won, right? I mean, 2-2 at Bangalore, after two goals down, you had the momentum on your side. You didn't utilize that. You allowed Sunil to score two and become the hero. And against Mohun Bagan, it just showed Mohun Bagan had enough quality on the bench to turn things around towards the end. That's the big difference that I saw in those matches. The Blasters weren't that far off. But I feel that if you listen to what Mikkel Store said now, that Mikkel Store and the management most probably had certain discussions and it wasn't positive. So therefore, in that opinion, in my opinion, would be that that was an added reason for Store leaving. Kerala Blasters see management and mixture of fans' emotions always lead them to take bizarre kind of decisions, I feel. Um, yeah, what this is not a bizarre this is a decision to fire the manager, I think, or the head coach. I think that is something which is quite, in my opinion, quite normal. That if you have such a streak and the Blasters themselves said, "Hey, you know what? We want to get into top six," that then the club management steps in and takes that decision. There are other things that are different. I think again, I feel as an outsider, it is sometimes very difficult to judge this. But if you would ask me, I think, uh, you know, um, uh, uh, the communication and the way you communicate with your fans. I think if you're, I think Abik has been trying to be honest in his communication, but again, without saying anything. And that is, that has been called out. That's a problem, I think, for him. And again, if you come in into your role, the Blasters is, for him as someone who's also Bengali, he knows the psyche around East Bengal, Mohun Bagan, and Mohammedan. Then you have to keep that in mind when you take up such a role. That is going to be one of your biggest asks and your biggest task is interacting and working with the fans. And there, Abik has, in my opinion, as an outsider, the biggest and the toughest ask. I disagree with you here. Oscar's forced to play Anwar in CDM position. The team is in crisis. None of the other two foreign defenders can play in CDM position. Next match, Anwar will play as centre back. Hector is suspended. Um, Shobik, you're right on one side that he's forced to play him, but that is what I mean. That you are looking at your players and you know um, you have a situation where you think, Hector Yuste and Hijaji Maher, both of them, I'll keep them, um, they are better as the centre backs than Anwar, and Hector Yuste has played as a holding six, so it's not to say that it's not possible, but if you've got the option of playing whom, then who are you pushing around, and that's what my whole point is. How tables turn 35 games unbeaten to just one win in 12. What Man City needs to do to get out of this faster, which is in the hand now. Harry, um, it is not in my position to give advice to someone like Pep Guardiola on this issue. I think Pep Guardiola knows more about football than me in regard to what to do, not to do with a team or around a team. The challenge for him is just to turn around the mentality. I think the mentality thing we is something which is there, um, and Pep knows that better than anybody else. What can and needs to be done, and I think that's the challenge now for him to try and change the mentality of the club, of the team. Yeah. It's to me is something um, it's difficult, and they at some stage they start to need to win matches. Again, they've thrown away matches. I think that's more disturbing to him, or but yeah, he needs to turn things around. Do you think PV Vishnu should be given a chance in national team? Pranjal, no. I don't think for me, he's not a national team quality player. And if he becomes quality player for the national team, looking at, if I look at Hamza Chaudhary joining Bangladesh and you're talking about PV Vishnu, then we are going down further than rather going up. Sorry, it doesn't look to me at the moment to be yeah, yeah, uh, you know, so yeah, it's something which is, which is, which raises more questions than answers questions. This year will be one of the most pointless winter transfer window. By the time January ends, there will be only 5 matches left for most teams. Um, Bubbles, but that's why teams will now want to make the changes in early January. So therefore, that's going to be the interesting part if you can. But let's wait and see what the teams do, and it will also show you where how teams can handle such situations. What is the news regarding Christian market attack in Germany? Which city did it happen in? It was said it happened in a city called Magdeburg in eastern Germany. Someone drove with a car into the Christmas market, and up to now, sadly, 5 people have died. One of them is a child, and over 200, if I'm right, injured. Horrific incident, and yeah, my prayers, my best wishes are with those who have been injured and the families of the bereaved. Can we say Pritham Kota will prove himself he good enough to compete or other player gift of fight? Yeah, Pritham in his time was one of the best India had. When are you coming to India anytime soon? Abhishek, I will be coming to India in Jan. Yeah, well, maybe once, maybe even twice, but yeah, I'll be coming to India in Jan. Can we say Rahul KP replacement for Manvir or form and he has to improve? Rahul KP is no replacement for anyone in the national team at the moment, Morali. He's not good enough. Rarely starts at the Blasters. Someone that I saw regularly for the Indian juniors was very impressive at that stage. Yeah, but at the moment, no, it's not good enough. Say whatever you want about Pep Guardiola managing the greatest teams, Barca, Bayern, Man City, but soon he doesn't have those quality players or the players he needs. He just gives up. No, I wouldn't say that. It's sometimes. Um, you ask, yeah, you have situations. Um, Jurgen Klopp had it at Dortmund the last year before he left. He was last at some stage in the Bundesliga table. That it sometimes doesn't click. And if you take away Rodri, the Ballon d'Or winner, right? And now you realize if anyone, again, and that's why the FIFA Best Award for Vinny Jr. is a joke, in my opinion. Rodri, now you one should realize how good Rodri is, right? We talk about attacking players, right? Also in an Indian football context, we talk about more about strikers and about attacking players. But your defensive structure is the key to success. And that is something, yeah, that needs to be remembered. Heard from few sources, Simon Grayson applied for coach position as a probably five by the sea. Okay. In some clubs, coaches apply. In some clubs, do their own research. What happened to Man City? Pranjal, we just discussed it. It just happens. It shouldn't happen. It happens to teams. Question now to me is also if Guardiola should have extended his contract or should have just said, you know what, I think my time is over. Thank you very much. Tata, bye bye. That's going to be a conversation at City at some stage. Can we say Viviano Fernandez had a better quality compared to other India coaches, or he went abroad for exposure? Murai, two things. Viviano went abroad for exposure. That's one. I mean, I saw him last year here in Germany with the under 23s, but that wasn't the best that I've seen of him. And yeah, and Nikolai Adam had an even better squad than him. So yeah, we will be lying at the bottom in Asia in a few years from now. Moinok, I hope you are wrong, but I know that danger is there, and the discussion needs to be had, and people need to have that conversation about players of origin, and so let's see how we take it. Kerala Blasters see lost spark. I feel plus Luna form is an issue, but management is ignoring it. I don't think they lost the spark. That is my big thing that I like to disagree. Look at the BFC match. Look at the Mohun Bagan match. If you are 2 goals down against GFC and are 2-2, you are 1 goal down and you come back and suddenly lead 2-1 against Mohun Bagan against the two top teams of the league. Yes, you lose it in the end, but if you are able to draw and lead those two teams, that to me doesn't mean that you are bad. It's just that you can't see out matches. That, of course, raises the question of quality, but it's not a question of spark. Luna, yes, no doubt about it. I don't think and Luna is a liability, in my opinion. Uh, uh, you know, uh, um, so yeah, but lost the spark? I don't think so. Does Carabas team need an already settled ISL coach which have high reputation ISL rather than a newbie to inform maybe like Lobera Monroe who tries to get their own more than club management? I don't know if the club management wants such a manager. Right? That would be my question. I'm not sure. Can we say it's the worst season of Pep Guardiola? Yeah, Blue, by far. Well, do you think it's the right to say performance of Eastbourne AFC Challenge League in recent times is due to Oscar? Yes, 100%, Akash. He sorted out a lot of things, you know. So to me, uh, as I've said now multiple times, to me, being able to go to Bhutan, to work in things calmly, quietly, to not having to bother about things around him, has helped Oscar massively. Those 2 weeks, 10 days over there, are now where you're seeing where they are. Hamza Chaudhry, apart from him, Bangladesh also feeding players from La Liga and Dutch Eredivisie. Yeah, they are working on that. FC Goa is the most balanced team at the moment. Yeah. Is there really a balanced team in this league at the moment? That would be my question, Blue. I don't think there are balanced teams. Because if I look at the top, Mohun Bagan, not balanced. BFC to me, not balanced. FC Goa, yeah, getting results, but are they really balanced? Mumbai City to me is not balanced because the attack is not firing. Odisha FC is also not balanced, and let's forget the rest. So therefore, the word balance is quite big. Can't clubs start interviewing new coaches before sacking? Can't clubs wait sacking until opponent is ready? Going with interim manager to the game seems not wise in a short league. Babalu's, why would I, as a club, start talking to someone when I don't know if my coach is going to get fired? Weren't it the fans who said Manolo Marquez is going to get fired? Molina is going to get fired. Those guys are still around, right? So, out of respect to your current coach, sorry, you're on totally on the wrong path. You know, so to me, you never should be talking again. If you know towards the end of at the season you're not renewing, it doesn't work. You know, and therefore, sorry, you're on the wrong path on this one. Sahal form getting dip. His finishing seems so poor. Hope he will make a good comeback ASAP. Given Red, you have to find a position for him. I think that's the problem that Mohun Bagan has at the moment. Molina is playing him in a position that is not suiting him. He has to be in that attacking position with no or minimal defensive duties. Looks like Bangladesh will be new Asian powerhouse in AFC level. AIFF will do something when they will humiliate us a few times. I don't know if they're going to be an Asian powerhouse, Akash. Let Hamza Chaudhry and the others come in, settle in. I'm not sure what's going to happen because, again, Pakistan, still haven't been able to figure out themselves. Stephen has tried but hasn't worked. So, therefore, it'll be a test. East Bengal always gets lucky at continental tournaments compared to Mohun Bagan. Clearly, that 1911 win is the most significant win of international repute. Okay, where does this come from? First of all, East Bengal is not lucky. At some stage, if you do it once or twice, maybe, yeah, but they've done it over the years. And 1911 has no international repute. That's something which is one fact which I say, and then Mohun Bagan fans don't like it. But to me, that 1911 win is more important for India's independence struggle than rather for Indian football, because it's part of the Indian football folklore which we talk about, where they beat an army team. They did not beat even a football team, right? So to me, that has to be understood: who we beat, how we beat, when we beat. This is part of our history of a problem in Indian football, that we glorify things which you can glorify, but which for Indian football are actually rather stumbling blocks than something of our foundation to be built on. Good game for Nanda today in that last clearance from Anwar Ali is the game changer today. Otherwise, one bad tackle that time, maybe penalty or goal for Jamshedpur FC. Oh, I don't know. I don't agree fully with you, Shumullo, that Nanda had a great game. And Anwar Ali, yeah, very, very important against Nikhil Bala. Otherwise, that either that ball goes in or, as you say, is a penalty. Um, Jamshedpur have an issue with finishing at the moment, which is a fact. And in the end, one has to say, um, some nervy moments for East Bengal. But again, Oscar has that mojo with this team at the moment, so he's getting the points. People still living in 1911. Yeah, Blue. Let's not get into it. Now, do you have any idea how old Yusufa Mokoko is? Is he 20 or 24? What clear is this age foot issue is real and a problem even in the football structures and cultures? XYZ, I do not know how old he is. The problem here is that Yusufa Mokoko's official registration was done 20 years ago at the Cameroon Embassy of Germany. So that's when he's officially registered. Now, with that interview from his father, again, and the father there's been issues around the father, so nobody knows if it's true or not true. He said that rumor again and again over the years, but again, I think he's not in touch with, or he has problems with his son now. Maybe he wants to get back to him. I have no clue. Therefore, I can't say it. Normally, no, we don't have these kind of issues. But again, Yusufa Mokoko is not born in Germany. He was born in Cameroon. And yes, in Cameroon, these kind of things can be an issue. But again, as per the registration made 20 years ago in 2004 with the authorities in Cameroon, with the German, I don't know if it's an embassy or consulate. Yeah, that's something which is there. How Dortmund, a mid-table club in Bundesliga, while being a superpower in UEFA Champions League, Bubbleos, that's football for you, right? Certain teams will be good in the domestic leagues every year and fail in Europe, and some are of a decent level every year in Europe. He says, I think there will be huge difference between quality of Bangladesh diaspora and local players. If they're able to field 7-8 players in the same match, they may reach top 8 Asia level. But if they field 3-4, and they might level be same to us. Harry, that's what I'm saying. It's not very, very clear. Let's see how many players they can get into that system. And then the question is, how do they gel up? That's the other thing with international and local. But if let's say if you've got 4 or 5 players who are taking over, it's like an ISL team being run by foreigners, right? These guys are coming in with the qualities of foreign, or even better. Hamza Chaudhary is better than, I think, most, if not all, ISL players in defensive positions. So let's see. So I in touch with Ashish Negi is one of the few ones who calls a spade a spade. Ishan, on and off, not on a regular basis, we're in touch, but we are touch once in a while. I mean, didn't we lose to Guam when Guam didn't have a professional player or league? It was all amateur. When was it? I think it was 2015, but yes, but all the players that were playing were either MLS players or playing in American colleges. Even when Duna is out of form, he has third most chances created so far this season. Yeah, but that shows that I am talking, you are talking, we are talking about Adrian Luna, and we are thinking of a different level for this player. So that's the challenge that Adrian Luna faces, that we expect something different from him. Very, very simply said. And that's the challenge that Adrian Luna will have in the ISL, because we expect something special about him, and expect something special about him all the time. When do you difference between your perception and fans when it comes to fans say FIFA bias is the knowledge or ignorance? Ignorance, Murali. I've said this multiple times. If people make these kind of judgments without knowing. And it's not an Indian football fan thing; it's a global football fan thing. That if something goes against their national team or club, then it's always the blame of the others, um, referees and all. So therefore, yeah, it's for me the fans. They don't. I think fans again. Sorry if I say that so directly, but for me, a lot of fans don't really understand how football works. They think they know and they understand, but they really don't have a clue. Your opinion on Bryson Fernandez, really great in my opinion. Blue, another potential winger, another going winger. um, hot and cold. He's scored some interesting goals this season already. When he's come on, he's played. But can he do that consistently? Time will only tell. What makes Bibiano different from other India coaches is the tactics and mentality. Results. Tactic and mentality in that sense doesn't matter. It's the results which matter. At the end of the day, let's take the ISL as an example. Remember, we talked about, as I said, when did I do a video about this on my channel? I asked 3 weeks ago, are Mumbai City FC a club in crisis? 4 matches ago, 3 weeks ago, I asked this question. And I did a video on that. Do watch that. And just see how far Mumbai City have come in the last few weeks. Right? So the realities of things are sometimes things change. Things change in a short space of time. Look at East Bengal, right? At the start of the season, everyone said, hey, great squad. And starting from the Durant, it wasn't working. And then the results came, right? Molina, after 4 or 5 matches, we thought, difficult. But he's turned things around. So therefore, it is sometimes about results, and Bibiano got the results, therefore he's got the standing. If other coaches got the results, they would also, and we wouldn't question them. If XYZ coach is not there are coaches who are coaching at the top level in ISL, I League, or even have coached in national teams. He's taking Igor Stimac. Igor Stimac, mid-2023, the fans were loving him because he was getting the results. But the mistakes have been visible before that. Right? So that's something which is a fact. If I talk about 1911 or 1950, just one thing come in my mind. If someone took initiative in football from the core that it won't get rotten in future, back then we may have a World Cup. Who knows? Harry, this is something that I've discussed in private with certain people over the years. And I feel the mistakes are not being done today. Of course, we're doing mistakes today. But the key mistakes in Indian football were done very, very right in the 1890s, 1900s, 1910s, 1920s, 1930s, 1940s, 50s, when football wasn't developed that much. So to me, that is, I think, the thing that Indian football should discuss. We talk about the 1950s and 1960s being the golden era of Indian football. What did we achieve? Did we play a World Cup? Did we reach the knockout stages of the AFC Asian Cup? What did we achieve? Yes, we did win 2 Asian Games. Okay, that is a benchmark. We did well in the Olympics. But in the 1950s, the world shifted from Olympics to the FIFA World Cup. 1950 was a key. 1954 in Switzerland was even more important. So while we were still in the Middle Ages, the others were in the future. That is our problem. Indian football needs to get out of the slumber of the past and needs to move forward into the future. And that is our problem, that we talk about the future, but we talk about a great history, but we should actually deny the past and say, listen, guys, thank you very much what was happened in the past, but a lot of that so-called great history is actually detrimental to the development of Indian football. And that is, to me, the key element that needs to be looked at and discussed. We saw Brandon occupying central spaces, and to me, that was the difference. He looks the most threatening when he occupies central space as opposed to occupying the wings. Ishan, yes and no, to me, because Brandon also was playing a lot on the right wing, right? Joining up a lot with Chante when he was on that side. So therefore, for me, yes, he's better in the middle, but I think overall Brandon's game was better. I think that's the key for a Brandon Fernandez, that if he wants to make that impact that he is capable of, that has to be, his passing has to be more sleek. And the small little things, But to me, that is going to be the key for him. So hopefully, Brandon does better, and yeah, let's hope he continues to work on those things. Right, over 50 minutes already of this live tonight. If you haven't, do leave like if you think you're liking this conversation. 12 likes only so far, guys. I think we can do much better. And yeah, leave a share and of course subscribe now. Arun Foot, more than 2,000 subscribers. Thank you very much. And yeah, hopefully we continue to grow. And also, not to forget, let's look at the old shorter videos that I made. Yesterday I made something where I speak about Kerala Blasters and Hyderabad FC in the search, and try to explain a little bit from my perspective how that search for a new coach really goes on. Of course, Hamza Chaudhary joining Bangladesh. Before that, Thangba Singh leaving Hyderabad FC. Exciting I League, which continues, of course. Because Torres firing, and does India have a goalkeeping problem? Interesting, in the last few days, we've seen less errors from Indian goalkeepers. So do watch also these shorter videos, and help me to get more traction overall here on YouTube. And I always thank you very much for that, guys. XYZ says lagging. I don't know if I'm lagging, if it's for the others as well. How do you rate Beckham? His passes just like musician. Can we say Tony Kroos is similar style? No, Beckham and Kroos are different players. Beckham, of course, started as a winger and then became a central midfielder, and Kroos was always a central midfielder. So therefore, difficult to compare those two, Murali. So Hale and Deepak, if both were in some other ISL team, they should be in starting 11. 100% about Deepak Tangri should be booking news as centre back or defensive midfield, just like Australia match. Romolo, yeah, Tangri can be, could be. Suhail Bhatt, I'm not 100% certain. Again, I know a lot of Mohanbagan fans rated him very, very highly because of his exploits in the CFL and for the RFDL team in the last two seasons. Um, has to step up, as with all players, right? We've had a lot of these players where people said, oh, can do this, you can do that. And Deepak Tangri is an experienced youth international as well for India. So, but look at Abhishek Suryavanshi, right? He was the up and coming player at Mohun Bagan last season under Habas, and this year, limited opportunities. All of Chile, how do you describe him? His hairstyle unique. Morali, Arturo Vidal was called the warrior. And he had that style, that flair around him, which made him very, very special, and a very special player in my opinion. And therefore for me, Arturo Vidal is the kind of player that I think a lot of people will like. So yeah, great player. Not always the most stylish, some would say, but effective. It was just, I think back then Olympics had a different charm. It wasn't just about sports, it was politics. A lot of things got into us there. Also, it was the very few times the world got together and meet. I think Olympics had settled itself in people's heart, competed with people from around the world. It had that nationalistic angle. Also, government clearly supported every household had. XYZ, yeah, nothing to say what you said. Yes, you're right. But to me, the job of the All India Football Federation would have been in those days to understand. India was a top Asian side at the time, right? Let's not forget that most parts of Asia were not playing football properly. A lot of teams, a lot of countries had national teams, but they didn't bother about football. And it started in the 60s that teams like South Korea came in, the Japanese came in, Iran came in, and then you had, the whole trend in the Middle East and other parts of Asia. Now every country plays. So we had a head start on everybody. We missed that head start. In the first half of the last century, we missed the opportunity. We missed the bus. For 50, 60 years, we could have been the clear front runners. 1950, India going to the World Cup. I don't know if we had gone to that World Cup. India would be a superpower in world football today. We might not be discussing this amongst ourselves. We might be, thousands of people might be part of the discussion because India is a regular World Cup playing nation. We don't know. Right. So therefore, that is what I find very disturbing, and people not willing to have that discussion and try to understand. So therefore, let's see where we go. Do you think the kind of role Jahu provide with quality is exceptional that any other ISL might not have, given from many years. Very good in defense and even better playmaker. Aguero, the best Arsenal mid industry. Um, oh, Defensively, I think he has his weaknesses. He's cut down on his mistakes, but I think there are better. I still think that, for example, Joel van Neef is a better defensive midfielder in that sense than Ahmed Jahu. And if he has the right support, Joel van Neef can be deadly also up front. So for me, and to me, we saw that today when van Neef moves up. Of course, his shot was denied, but that actually got them the goal via Karelis getting that deflection shot. So therefore, best of all times, I wouldn't say that. Sir, Moshal Abar Joyce Bengal Yashimula turnaround really really impressive. But I said that when Oscar came in, that Oscar can be the change that East Bengal need, and he's brought it so far. So it's been more than just impressive. That is what he's brought to East Bengal. So therefore, good sign, and hopefully he can take the team further. At the moment, things look very very good. I think Manolo Marquez has done well by not selecting Raul Veke. Why not have Indian young players of origin and Goa where he coaches so that they could be drafted team without hassle? Why he selected Raul Veke? Why? What are you saying, Arijit? And secondly, why would an origin player come to India? At the moment, he needs 5 years to get a passport. It makes no sense for an origin player to come to play ISL. Growth in football needs to be sustainable, should remain years and years later. It was proposed and benefit. Whatever we did in past, nothing was sustainable, whatever we achieved. Yeah, sustainability is still today not possible. East Bengal, Mohun Bagan, Mohammedan are not sustainable systems. There are people who are pumping in money without the money coming back. Uh, you know, so therefore that is something. Just imagine now we're thinking of a drubbing against Bangladesh ranked 94. Arijit, we're not thinking of a drubbing. And if Hamza Chaudhary plays, then Bangladesh is not a 164th nation. This is something which you need to remember. Olympics was the FIFA World Cup of that time. The biggest prize, FIFA has no money at that time. It was just a project. No idea. Travel was hard. AIFF couldn't have predicted this. And exactly this is where you're offering the AIFF an Indian footballer get out of jail card, XYZ. 1950 was the turning point. And if you talk to people, and I've had the pleasure um, at the start of my career to talking to people who were involved in football, and they clearly said 1950, the World Cup, it was clear, uh, uh, um, you know, that 1950 would be the turning point, right? FIFA from the late 40s after the Second World War put the AIFF in place to ensure that Sorry, got disconnected. Just to continue the point, the point here is, to me, is if you are the right leadership, and in those days, football was much easier than it is today. Today, football is much more complex. Um, that you have had the opportunity to transform things for the future. So that is for me the big thing. In 90s, Japan used diaspora players, 24 or can say 25. India don't know when will where we get diaspora players. Blue, for me, as I said, I've repeated it. It is, sorry, might sound big, but I was the one who started this whole conversation in 2001 with the AIFF. And in 2024, we're no further. The last conversation I had with the AIFF was last year about things. So yeah. So that's the reality of things. And again, it's under Mr. Dasmunsi, under Praful Patel, under Kalyan now, with different secretaries, with different governments, with different sports ministers, nothing has happened. And all of them have not supported the future of Indian football with this. This should have been one of the key criteria for the All India Football Federation of the last 24, 25 years, in my opinion. We could have been another level. ब्रूमा जैसा को फुटबॉल टीम में आ जाए तो पीओ players may not be needed, but can India domestic structure produce a Bruma in footballing balance? Who is Bruma? I have no idea. Even if whatever India produces, PIO players will be better. India will never produce a player at this stage, at the stage that we are development. No club in India can produce a player of a level that's going to be better than our PIO players. If you tomorrow put up a jumbled up together PIO team and let them play against India, they'll beat them. That's the reality, and nobody wants to recognize that. Chandra Sen said after being Bengal team coach, he said even though Bengal was champions under so many, he said we have to keep in mind how many states used to play and what progress we done. That's one. And secondly, Bengal mainly played with the best players in India at that time. Sorry, just my mother wanting something. So for me, Sanderson is right. Sanderson is very, very right. I think coaches need to be pragmatic, like him when he said with the yeah, yes, we need to be honest and pragmatic. Can our government issue temporary passports to OCI PIO players? Akash, I don't think so. I think we just need to change the status of the OCI passport to being a sort of a sports passport, saying that whoever represents India can be it's a full passport in the sense for that time. Or other again, getting an Indian passport otherwise takes 5 years at the moment. That is part of our problem of our system. We are not quick enough to get citizenship, right? So that's the challenge. That's another challenge, in my opinion, which we're not getting past at the moment. How much difference can Hamza make alone for Bangladesh national team? Why not? I think just to have such a player in the middle of the park with the quality, with the experience. He's not 17, 18, 19, 20. He's 27. He's seen it all, done it all. Uh, I think makes a huge difference. If now another universal football body stands up, creates better formats, grants better funding to developing nations, creates a competitive market not like one we have, would nations go to join? I don't think so. I don't think that there is a situation where there is any sporting body that can be created which would make a difference in a football sense, in a football term. Or any, it's not like boxing, or I don't know what other sports, was it wrestling? It might be wrestling or weightlifting, where new federations have come out of nowhere. Um, Therefore, to me, that is something which is at the moment not happening, and therefore, yeah, um, no chance. I think the Olympics have a rule that diaspora players have to be allowed. Probably we can hope. Yeah, Blue, that there is, because I've said that now multiple times also here. But yeah, that the Chinese example of the Winter Olympics, that their ice hockey team didn't contain much of Chinese in it. Hi Manolo, was Chima goal offside? Oh yes, he was clearly offside. Because the goalkeeper had moved forward, Renesh was out of his position, and there was just one defender. Was it Mehtab? I think it Mehtab or was it Tiri? Was on the line, so therefore last man rule, and yeah, he was clearly offside. If that Yusuf was saying we are the next big thing, believe in us, we are creating a better World Cup, how many would buy in? No one. No one. Because the key players are all with FIFA. Mumbai City FC is one of their worst season start. Shield race says a lot about the ambitions of the club and character. Manola, I said that. I know you were very critical about it, but I've always said that this team still has quality, and this team is still, despite all the problems this team has faced and adversities this team has faced, it is still a decent squad. So to me, is yeah, uh, Mumbai City is in this game, and this team has to just get certain results, and then things change. So for me, Mumbai City look good, because these 1-0s, in my opinion, are worth a lot. At the moment, these 1-0 wins are worth a lot because it shows your character to grind out results. And rather than, let's say, last season or the season before, under Peter Kratke or even under Des, you had a lot of these result matches where they were winning 4-0, right? There was a flow in that. At the moment, Mumbai City doesn't have that flow. And if you see, Kais as a striker is doing a lot of work, a lot of tough work, in falling back and dropping back and trying to help, which is also worth a lot. So many countries working on their foundation, but we are nowhere near the picture. Yes, Murali. Origin is probably talking about some cricket player. Acha, okay. Don't know. Sorry, I don't know. Yeah, you do not follow cricket, but one of the best Indian cricketers, in my opinion. Sorry, I mean, who follows cricket? I mean, anyone who follows sports, do they follow cricket? Oh, wow. Nowadays, cricket is a sport, global sport. And exactly what? That's not the case. It's a sport of Commonwealth countries of the Indian diaspora. Outside of that, very few to no people care about cricket. But again, will the BCCI ICC tell you that? No. I mean, the German national team, I think, doesn't have any German born, real German playing cricket. right? So therefore, cricket is not a global sport. I mean, basketball is more of a global sport. Field hockey is more of a global sport. Handball is more of a global sport. Let's not even get into tennis. Badminton, table tennis. Cricket is not a global sport. I was referred to by the Indian domestic player of the caliber of Jasprit Bumrah. I mean, his single-handed contribution supporting cricket against Australia. At Arjit, I don't know the guy. I don't know what he did. So, and I don't bother what he did. So I don't follow cricket. Yeah. So, rumor, the only word read British colony level Indian cricket at the moment. Okay. Again, don't care. Maybe even a player level Hamza in the near future, we may talent better than him, but talent without nurture is similar to nothing, and our nurturing is worse. If it was better, average guys can be good as well. Yeah, Harry, that's part of the problem. I think if the Indian passport is ranked in top 50 or 60, allowing Indians to travel to under 30 to under 10 to somebody else can even consider taking passport. XYZ, there are players who are willing to take on the passport issue, but the AIFF is not helping them. This is another story. There are top level players who are willing to take up an Indian passport, but the passport process can't take 5 years. Right? We might not even see a player at the level of Hamza. Sorry, we had that already. Surprised seeing our foreign policy, which has been praised around the world, a CR passport could have been strong. Who says the foreign policy has been praised abroad? Right? The passport has nothing to do with foreign policy. Right? If you like it or not, illegal immigration, Indians are amongst the highest. Ask the Americans. India is amongst the top five. So therefore, the Indian passport's value is not as high as it could be because there are countries in a lot of parts of the world who don't want Indians to be coming because of illegal migration. So that is the reality of things, right? Um, and PIOCIs is just one thing because they will, as with other things, right? It is. I realize it as a person of origin how difficult it has been in the past to just get a mobile number in India and someone who regularly comes back to India. And to me, that is some of the realities. India makes certain things complicated, and then they put it under the name of terrorism or illegal businesses and make it for the general public difficult. Sorry, that's not a question of which government or not. It's a general thing. Sir, please keep sharing valuable information that you gain from around the world. We don't get to know things like this from other sources. Thanks, Ishan. I hope I don't get in trouble being honest as I am. A lot of people don't like that, but yeah, I'm as always try to be as honest as I can with you guys. Do you think Oscar Bruzon had not anything on his side and continue with the complaining? Shumbit, yes, and he's gotten down to work. He's not someone who's playing to the media galleries. He's just doing his work. And to me, that is something. And knowing him a little over the years, I go back. I recommended him in 2015, even though I'd left the club to Mumbai City to sign him as an assistant coach. I rate him very, very, and I rate him as someone who understands football in South Asia, not only in India, but he's coached now 6 years Bashundra in Bangladesh. He's been their national team coach. He understands football in this part of the world, right? So this is something which makes him, in my opinion, stand out against other coaches. And again, he's worked on the basics of this team. You see, first thing, mentality, right? The he's improved the players. Clayton Silva, best game of the season today, discussed multiple times by the commentators today. Great to see, right? And East Bengal fans have been now saying for a while needs to be offloaded in the winter. Given them defensive stability, has worked through adversities because of multiple injuries, multiple card suspension, and has been critical of his own players in public. He's clearly called on Nanda and Mahesh and others and said, yeah, red cards, yellow cards, not helping us, not complaining about the referees. So that's very, very important. We have good diplomacy all around the world, but it doesn't reflect in passport immigration, everything stuff, and what mattered to is passport stuff more than diplomacy. Yeah. Again, I would doubt the good diplomacy, because that's the other thing that I think is overplayed. But the passport issue has nothing to do with that. And again, players of origin is something, is something which is our thingy, and our question, and the question needs to be asked. And to me, very very simply said, we need to look at ourselves and not just look at the others around the world, right? So that's something which I would say is very very important for Indian football to move on. And that's forget Indian football; it should be Indian sports. There are enough athletes around the world who could give India an added bit of quality. Can't a player play without passport with PIO cards? No, he can't. The OCI PIO card is not that. My PIO card, again, now we don't have PIOs, we have OCI cards. My PIO card went to FIFA in 2006 and was made right. So saying, yeah, it could work, but again, you have to make it a sort of an informal or formal, no, not informal, you have to make it a formal sort of a second citizenship. That's India's not, yeah. Vishnu is playing like a vintage Messi. Knowledge is everywhere. Do you seriously want to compare him with Messi? You want to compare Vishnu with one of the best players of all times? Nobody in India, nobody in Indian football should be compared to Messi, right? It's yeah. You're comparing the best in the world with, I don't know, some village guy playing football. That is the level of difference between Lionel Messi and Indian football these days. Indonesia have an African origin player named Ronaldo. Football is funny. Yeah, XYZ. You've done, you know. Doing whatever they need to do to improve their national team. That is what Indonesia has been doing and is. Uh, uh, so that's the reality. Say if you have to compare Juan and Molina, how will you compare? Different approach. Juan more theoretical. I think Molina is more practical. Um, Juan tried out a lot of things. Molina is more looking back. Uh, uh, you know. So therefore, yeah. Players like Vishnu may not get game time in championship defending teams. Okay. Some a suggestion, can you share some news on trivia facts in the middle, even if there are no questions related to the same stuff like Andorra top division league being a semi-professional league. If I realize, you know, I will. If I realize it, I will surely do that, Ishan. But I'm not doing it on purpose. European club can call Vishnu anytime. He's playing like a Messi. Knowledge, seriously. No, he won't even get into the lowest divisions. You have to realize where our standards are. And we're talking about someone who's not even a national team player. So yes, we have a good foreign diversity. Many countries want to give Indians the visa salary that doesn't reflect in the power of our passport. That has other reasons. It's not about good foreign diplomacy. It's about rich upper and middle class where you want to get the tourists and the money in. You are mixing up XYZ a lot of things. Good diplomacy. If you sell good diplomacy, doesn't mean you have good diplomacy. And the value of the passport is not linked to your diplomacy. It's more linked in today's world about economics. Can government issue temporary passports to POSA players? Sorry, I missed previous answer. Akash, I don't think they can issue temporary passports, but there can be a temporary status of a player. I think that a lot of players would be willing to take up Indian citizenship, um, but would maintain. I know that from some Sri Lankan players that they have the option to get their passports back of their country of which they had earlier if once their career is over. And that is something, of course, it is easier for your work and everything if you have an English, a German, a Spanish, or a Danish, or whatever passport. So therefore, that's a reality. When did this player of origin rule come into FIFA? Since you were discussing it even in early 2000s, it's been there. I don't even know when it's come in. It's been there. So therefore, it's been there around. I don't know when it became an issue, but yeah, player of origin rule has been there. It's really surprising in cricket fantasy. Centuries held by a French person. Fastest centuries held by French person in first one-day cricket match has been USA Canada. Okay, didn't know that. Do you think the lack of economic stability among people, that is, people being poor, struggling to afford basic needs, which is majority Indians, holding us back in sports? People can't even think about sports and economic hardships. Harry, that's the reason why sports is played in a lot of part of the world. Manipur and Mizoram is a place where football is the reason why these people have uh, uh, look at sports, right? So economic hardship can be a reason why you want to be um, um, Africa. Look at South America. Sports is a way of getting out of your misery. We don't have good diplomacy. Our foreign policy isn't even clear. Sometimes it's just not continuous, like balancing in bricks. Okay, blue. Is Indian Super League improving? Oh, knowledge is everywhere. That's a dangerous question, a very generic question, because on one side people will say it's improving, on another side people will say it's not improving. Is it getting us where we need? I think the ISL has improved over the last 10 years. Yes, it has. But has the Indian talent improved in the league? That is something to speak about, to worry about, and where we are not where we can be, need to be where we should be. And to me, that is, I think, the biggest problem that the ISL faces today is that Indian talent has not improved over the last decade. I think, yeah, so yeah. Why would a European passport holder will leave his citizenship for Indian passport? Government needs to come with temporary status. Temporary status, as I said, Akash, not happening. And why would someone leave it? Because of an international career. And again, India is not going to be option A for players. Indonesia is not option A. Bangladesh is not. Pakistan is not. These are not option A's. It is very option B, or someone is really, because of family or other reasons, wants to play for a certain country. But even a Morocco or Algeria, whatever, is not going to be your option A. But if you have that option, take it. And that's the point here, the new. Unrelated, but have Harry Kane and Eric Dyer impressed you at Bayern? Ishan, Harry Kane, surely. His goal record is incredible. Eric Dyer was quite good last season, but at the moment, not in the plans of Vincent Company. But yeah, our system is too much holding us back. Do you agree? Yeah. The system, the government of India is not supporting sports enough as it should. And I'm generalizing here. And yes, there are corporates who are supporting sports with certain amounts of money, but I think overall there should be more money spent on sports. And that is really the problem that India faces. That is not happening. That more money needs to come into the sporting ecosystem. That's the reality. That's where we stand with this. And they're not supporting sports in a way that they should. And I think sports needs to be, you know, sports needs to be given a priority, in starting with schools, with general education. I mean, this economic hardship may be a boon for some people, but can backfire for majority of Indians. I mean, not just football, but every sport where we need nurturing. Harry, I think when you are trying to become a professional athlete, a lot of players from a poorer background gamble with their own lives, right? Often people don't have a plan B, and we've had terrible stories of of players falling by the wayside. Uh, um, so therefore, it is this way, sometimes it is that way. And I look not only at India, I look at around the world. Even here in this part of the world, if you look at Europe, you see players from poorer strata of societies, you know the Ronaldinhos, the Neymars, even Messi doesn't come from a well-to-do background. A lot of them do. Majority of the Indian state don't have a sporting culture. That's the hard truth. But it is, even domestic cricket has no audience in cricket in states apart from IPL. I think outside of IPL, does it have viewership? Cricket live viewership? Does it have viewership even for test matches? So Akash, that is a very general thing. Sporting culture is something. There's a large parts of the world where you don't have sporting culture, but sports is successful. What are the guidelines regard to naturalized players? Ishan, um, different countries have different rules. Certain countries say you have to be there for 3 years, for 5 years to be naturalized, some even longer. But then, due to football, you get the passport quicker. Normally in sports, via sports, you get it quicker than it normally would be. In India, I don't know anyone who's been naturalized. Chima Okeri in the 80s wasn't naturalized. Let's say Ansumana Kroma, married to an Indian woman, hasn't been naturalized. The only case that I know, but that's a player of origin, that is that of Isumi Arata. Arata needed 5 years to get an Indian passport, despite living, working, playing in India, marrying someone who has an Indian passport. Moinok's topic is Devantako's goal. Do you think it was a dummy run by Vishnu or was it a missed flick by Heel? Moinok, I haven't seen the replays that much to be able to have a judgment on it. Um, if it, if even if it was not a dummy run, sell it as a dummy run. That would be my tip, but I'm not sure. Most of the people are not ready to buy tickets and visit stadium. That's the issue with poor financial situations. Akash, there are enough people who have money to be willing to pay for tickets and to visit stadiums to buy merchandise. Even those people want free tickets and don't want to pay for it. That's the reality of India in the year 2024. That's part of the problem. People are willing to pay crazy amounts for cricket tickets, but they're not willing to pay tickets for football and other sports. That's the reality. We should allow naturalized players at least. Ishan, it hasn't happened in the last 4 decades. I said Timo Kerry married, not only he, and yeah, as I said, Ansumana Kroma, just to name two. I'm sure that there are other African players who've come to India who married Indian women. But again, especially Chima in his time, would have bulldozed, Asian defenses. Were you around when Vikas Torres was playing in Lyon and Marseille? Were you like involved with football that way? Yeah, I was around. I've known Vikas now for over 20 years. I've even we've even traveled together to India on an occasion. Vikas, I remember I saw him on a football show in 2001, and yeah, and then asked the question in 2001 why this player who was playing at Lyon. I don't think he played at Marseille. I think he played at PSG. He played at AC Milan. Was playing for France. Why? Well, what is the case of players of origin? And we had Harpal Singh at the time playing with Baichung at Bury Football Club. So therefore, yeah, I was involved in football at that time as well. What is Sorry, he was from Dubai or grew up in Dubai. No, he was born and brought up in Al Ain, if I'm right. Was playing football over there. Came to college in Kerala, and then from college got to the into the Blasters Reserve, and the rest, as they say, is history. Rohit. Kian's father too. Yes, of course. Ishan, Kian Nasiri's father, Jamshed Nasiri, fled Iran with Majid Bhaskar after the revolution, came to India, got married to an Indian woman, and of course, Kian is the product of that love or with his wife, and yeah, and but Jamshed Nasiri never was allowed to play for India. Is there any country who needs 5 years for passport? Blue. A lot of countries have rules of 3, 5, 8, 10 years of getting citizenship. Normally, sports athletes get their passports quicker than that. So that's also, that's also a reality of getting citizenship around the world. Again, sports normally after 2, 3 years. Even the Chinese have done it. The Russians have done it around the world. You issue, even Germany has done it, France, Netherlands have done it, issue quicker citizenship to integrate players if you think that they're of value to you, and that's happened, or that not only has happened but happens around the world. So that's something of a story that there is to be told, and therefore that's something, yeah, that's very, very important for not only Indian football but a lot of experts in football legends say Luis Suarez is the best striker of this generation. What do you think? Does Lewandowski, Harry Kane, is Holland better? Suarez is in the top, but is he really the best striker of this gen? Lewandowski, surely I would rate higher than Luis Suarez. And Harry Kane, yeah. I mean, Harry Kane has the problem of not having won anything. And Holland, yeah, until a few weeks ago, we would have said, yeah, brilliant. But Holland at the moment is part of the problem at City. So he has to prove himself. Kylian Mbappe is another one we would add to the mix. And would you rate Cristiano as a striker? So that's something. In US, how long do sportsmen take to get a US passports? I don't know how long it takes in the US. In Europe, you as a sports person you get it quicker. So normally it is 2 to 3 years that you can potentially get a passport. I think 3 years, yeah, not two. I think 3 years is something that you need to get a passport. But it's always a fight. It's a struggle, And so if we had proper naturalization without being dual citizenship, could it have stopped majority of foreigners to give up the citizen just for some years, or only backward then, like majority haven't done seriously? See, Harry, we've not done it. Again, I'm talking about an Iranian, I'm talking about a Nigerian or Ghanaian, even, Jose Ramirez, Barreto, I think I remember was 20 years ago, there were discussion, why don't we make Barreto an Indian? Because Barreto was never good enough. So that's the reality, and we've not done it. And I think we lost out. We've lost out on players of origin. We've lost out on naturalization. Even today, we could think about naturalization. I mean, think about it. For example, forget naturalization. Um, I think it's something. Ryan Williams at BFC. Ryan Williams is of Indian origin. He's a PIO. And if I see Ryan Williams and Sunil the other day combining, then I think Ryan Williams, to me, in an India shirt, would be of value. And that is the challenge. How do we get these kind of people seriously interested to take up citizenship and play for us? And um, yeah, that's the challenge. So for me, very difficult to come up um, with a thing that if naturalization is something, um, you know, so therefore for me, I don't have an answer on this. I think Indonesia gave passport in some months. Yes, blue, but the naturalization I think still takes a little while. Um, um, but they give passports in a few months to players who don't even live in India. So that's the difference, right? If someone wants to play for India, theoretically he has to live 5 years in India. Did Sahar move to India for college with playing football in mind, or was it just luck that he went into that route? If I am right, Rohit, and I don't know if someone knows more about this, I think that he came to India to study and he was spotted playing football. And then the rest, as they say, is history. Ryan Williams will be eligible for Indian passport if he plays for 5 consecutive seasons in India, same like Arata. Yes, Shomo. If and things haven't changed, so therefore for me, Ryan Williams, if he wants to play for India, would have to live. Forget the playing. Would have to live in India for 5 years to be able to represent India, and um, he's been here now since 2023, so that would be 2028. 2028, he would be 35. So it makes no sense. So therefore, this has to be kept in mind, and that's the challenge I think that we have from an Indian football perspective about what do we do, what we don't we do, and yeah. And I think if we gave Ryan an opportunity to play for national team, he will. But 5 years is just stupid. Yeah, blue, 100%. Luis Suarez did it more than in one league, one Copa 2011. Leva and Poland was strong in 2000. I remember they hadn't lost a game playing in Europe, couldn't have won Euro in 2000. But XYZ, to compare the Copa to the Euros or compare South American football to European football, in my opinion, is always very, very difficult because I rate European football higher than South American football, taking out the World Cups. बांग्लादेश ने तो और 2-3 नेशनल्स ऑरिजिन के साथ कन्वर्सेशन कर रहा है एफसी क्वालिफिकेशन के लिए. Yeah, learning more. That's what they're doing. That's what Bangladesh are trying to do, trying to strengthen the team going into this next cycle of qualifiers. And that's the challenge that India has, right? That other teams are doing. Hong Kong has naturalized players, has origin players. Singapore is mainly made up of based of out of origin players or of players of naturalized players. So these are, yeah. Still, another 35-year-old Ryan will be better than our domestic players. Oh, that's very true. That's very true. But it's with Arata, right? Arata, we got a 32, 33 to play for us. We could have gotten Arata in his prime, right? So that is the point, that Arata could have been part of our AFC Asian Cup 2011. Could have made surely an impact, right? So just one second, just keep on listening. That's the problem that we have in Indian football, that we have the players, the potential, and we don't use them. Right? We could strengthen ourselves and we don't do it. That's my key concern. If I see that, yeah, Aranta is for me a good example. Again, could have been used after, let's say, 2 years playing in India and getting a citizenship and play. No, again, Asian Cup could have been an impact player. And Ryan Williams, I would love to see now Ryan Williams do this for us. He's been there now for 18 months. And Ryan Williams, his brothers have also played in India. One of his other brothers has also played in India, right? In the I League. So therefore, that's the thing that we need to realize who we want. We could have, there are multiple ISL players we could target to naturalize. We're never going to do that. But that's the challenge that we have. And therefore, for me, that's going to be the question of what we do, how we do, and do we do it the right way? And we very often don't. And that's, again, as I say, that's the challenge. That's the huge challenge for us. And we need to find the right solutions. And very often we don't find the right solutions. And therefore we're stuck where we're stuck at the moment. And it makes it more and more difficult to move up the ranks. We are setting up guardrails for ourselves, which the others don't have. The others are finding solutions to problems. And again, Indonesia has a sports minister who's working on these things to try and sort it out for Indonesia. And we aren't. And therefore we are where we are. And therefore I'm saying this is not a new problem or new phenomenon in Indian football, in my opinion. This has been around for decades. Jahu, Bumo, Steady have been here for like 7, 8 years, something. But why would they give their friends Spanish or maybe Morocco citizenship? But for us, it's visa given for a year or just fixture months. The visas are linked to the game time, but if you would ask these guys, would they want to play for India? You're just mentioning three names. Just think an Indian national team of having Thierry, Ahmed Jahu, and Momus in it. Do you think if Bangladesh banged us, will our government allow for sheer humiliation? Blue, I don't think they care. I don't think they care. You know. And XYZ said for that to happen, Bangladesh would have to beat us 8-0, 10-0. Yeah. I know Jahu who aren't Indian diaspora, but they could be naturalized foreigners. And Blue says, nah, I think 5 elimination, 2 games the same. Let's see. Tata, can you remember some years back there was a rule in I-League where every cup can field origin players, something like that? Yes, there was. Yeah, nearly 2 decades back, but it didn't attract the right talent, except Arata was the only one who really made it. The rest didn't really make it in Indian shores, and that's another reality, that we attracted talent, but that talent wasn't the level of talent we wanted. We had a lot of players, good players, but also in those days to cope with Indian conditions wasn't easy. I think we have to also remember that to play in Indian conditions for players is not very, very easy. And that's also a reality. Right, 1 hour and 39 minutes, more than 90 minutes already in there. Blue says, but no guarantee. But if you haven't, do leave a like, share it with other people as well. These discussions, 20 likes so far tonight. Thanks a lot for that. We're still at 2005 subscribers. So thank you also again, once again, thank you for breaking that 2000 mark a couple of days ago. We're growing from strength to strength, and hopefully we will grow further. For naturalization, there's no need to be diaspora. See Ukraine requiring no links Brazilians, but why would they give up their citizenship if we had dual one? Then question could have arisen. I think that for playing international football, there are a lot of players who will give up citizenship. Why do you think that the Brazilians, for example, right? Why would they give up their citizenship to play for Russia, for China, for even for African countries or European countries? XYZ says, I think one of our best bet to get these foreign players is players playing in ISL taking a passport whose origin country is lower than India or their Indian origin and are interested. I think XYZ, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're Spanish, if they're French, if they're Brazilians, if they're whatever. If we again, do you think TD is ever going to play for Spain? Hugo Boumous is going to play either for France or for Morocco, or Ahmed Joe going to play for Morocco? No, there are options. Now, if they introduce same rule now in ISL, I think we get good pool of origin players. No, we won't, Shomo. Exactly, no. That's I've had that conversation with a few people, and I don't think so. Because why would a player come to India? Right? Some again, if I don't, if I'm giving an Indian origin player, either will come to India because of the money, right? So it doesn't matter to him if he's an origin player, quota player, or if he's a foreign. But the Indian clubs will not sign an Indian origin player normally under the quota player. Um, that's one. And the other one is, if you don't have this opportunity to play for the national team, if you're going to say it's going to take you 5 years of playing in India to play for India, that's a turnoff, right? So this nice thought of yours, but it's not going to help. Khalid Jamil just said Jamshedpur FC played better than East Bengal. Okay, I didn't see that either, and I guess you with your smiling emoji say the same. Now these Indian origin players have that label of playing in ISL, would it help us in Asian Cup and knockout stage of world footballers in Japan around popular as the standard isn't high enough? See, the point is, if someone comes to India, I think there wasn't Sunil who said that Messi would be a worse player if he claimed to the ISL. I think it was Sunil, right? So therefore, these are realities that we have to look at, and if we are not of that standard, difficult, right? Very very difficult. And to me, that is something that we need to keep in mind. That if someone comes to India, plays in India, does he stagnate or does he get worse? That's a danger. And to me, that needs to be kept in mind when we talk about these players. So therefore, for me, yeah, very very important thing. I think origin players need to play where they are. They may not play for Spain, France, or other team, but giving up their sole passport may cause them complications, which of getting it back. If it was dual, keeping the old as well as Indian could be easier. I think as a sports person, if you want to get your passports back, I know of Sri Lankan players who've given up their citizenship to play for Sri Lanka, and they have possibilities of getting their European passports back relatively quickly after the end of their career. So I don't think it's an issue. It's a non-starter. It can all be work if there was the desire and the will of the All India Football Federation, of the Sports Ministry, of the Government of India. There are means and ways of getting these things done. Period. Simple. But there needs to be a desire to get these things done, and that desire is not there. That is my whole point in all of this, right? So therefore, if we don't show the desire of wanting to change things, we will not be able to change things. That is the challenge that we have today in 2024, of not moving forward on these small little issues, in my opinion, small little issues that would make a difference, right? So therefore, for me, that is something where I say, if if we get to that stage, we are down a lot further than we are at the moment. That is my concern. Indian football could be a lot down further the road of development than we are at the moment. We might be a biggie in Asia. We might be even a world beaters, right? But we're not. Good night, Blue. Yeah, it's 12:30. Sorry, 11:30 in India. Slowly coming to the end. But again, Indian football has a certain level of potential. At the moment, that potential is not good enough. How do we move up? We need to do certain things, but we're not willing to do those things, and that's the challenge that I see. And therefore, I hope we change things for good in the mid to the long run. But to me, that those are difficult things, and it was this, of course, with Ryan and players like him, we might roll over Indonesia, Kyrgyzstan, Bahrain, Oman. But problem is with other elite countries, we wouldn't match that standard. XYZ for us, it's not about the elite standard. Being um, being in this sort of a mid-level rung team of Asian football has been a struggle for us. Yeah, we have never moved into that second rung, where Most famous, I would say, is Uzbekistan is a nation to mention. We've not been able to break into that. We're nowhere near. To get there, that's the first step. And if we grow, if our national team is a little bit more successful, there will be a little bit more interest. Diaspora players coming in. There's a lot of going to be talk. Suddenly, other people might be looking at Indian football, and more kids might be playing. So these are the things. Being top 8, 10 Asia is a good standard for us from where we are coming in. Yeah, top 10 Asia for us is far, far away at the moment. That is the challenge, in my opinion, and that is where we need to try and aim. And therefore, that is the challenge, everyone, that we need to get to. And we're nowhere near that level. Therefore, my that was is and remains my concern, guys. Therefore, that's why I said PIO's need of the hour, and let's see. You know, sir, I feel my country, Bangladesh, had the best immigrant players, but for our politicians, we never cashed in on them. Hamza was bought because the coaches were demanding him. Shazab, welcome to the show. To me, the Hamza Chaudhry story has been around, and again, it's not something that your coach now has been demanding. I know Oscar Bruzon did it, Cabrera has been doing it as well, and Jamie before that. It's never happened. Now it's happening. I think Bangladesh should be very, very happy, and from that standpoint, I think it's very, very important that that it grows to that level. And it's a challenge. It was a challenge. It is a challenge. It will be a challenge, but it gives Bangladesh football, South Asian football, South Asians in the UK a boost, and that is something which I think is good for all of us. Joyce Bengal as well. Indian food and football. Welcome towards the end of the show. We're just about to wrap up on a day that Mumbai City scored a 1-0 win against Chennaiyin FC, and later on East Bengal by the same scoreline, a 1-0 beat Jamshedpur FC. Mumbai City move into the top four of the table. Once more, I'll run down quickly the table. Mohun Bagan Supergiant atop Bangladesh. Talk so much about Bangladesh. Bangalore FC second on 24. FC Goa third on 20. Mumbai City now fourth with 20 points. Odisha FC 19 points. All of them have played 12 matches. Punjab FC, Jamshedpur FC are sixth and seventh with 18 points. Both have 11 matches. Northeast United, Chennaiyin FC are on 15 points. Northeast have 11 matches. Chennai already on 13. East Bengal now on 13 points from 12 matches are 10th. Jump past the Kerala Blasters, who are now 11th with 11 points from 12 matches. They tomorrow host Mohammedan Sporting. Hyderabad FC are 12th with 7 points from 11 matches, and Mohammedan Sporting are bottom of the table, 5 from 11. So that's the standard and the situation at the moment. Shezab said, yes, blame should be given to politicians, never took those coaches. Seriously, same conversation as India. And did Hamza leave UK passport or dual citizenship? I don't know, Shazab. I don't know if Bangladesh has a dual citizenship rule or if they are like India one. I mean, he has a Bangladesh passport now. And if I'm right, he has renounced his UK citizenship. Shazab says, politician destroyed our sport for doing corruption. We would have been playing in Asian Cup. Thanks to them, we are getting portrayed as minnows. Dual citizenship. Okay, so that is something. So Bangladesh allows dual citizenship, which India doesn't. So that's the big difference, right? We need to think from a sporting perspective. Again, you don't need to do it for the general public. You can just do certain things for sports, and I think that would be the difference. And that's not been happening. Be it India, be it other parts. Again, Pakistan has also enabled athletes to get citizenship as well in the last few years. We aren't. I'd like to slowly come to an end, nearly 1 hour and 50 minutes, longer one tonight on this Saturday night on the 21st of December. I said wins for Mumbai City and for East Bengal, 1-0. The I-League also exciting yesterday. Inter Kashi scoring a 3-1 comeback win against Srinderi Deccan with Churchill Brothers top of the table after their win against Dempo Sports Club. So that's an interesting one. I'll do a special I-League discussion in the coming days as well. Tomorrow, I'm not sure if I'll be able to do a live. I'm out for some handball. I'll be watching some handball live tomorrow. with the team. So maybe I'll do a late show tomorrow. But I'll surely be doing a short video. As always, like, share, and subscribe. Arun Foot here on YouTube. Support the channel. Let's grow the community. Thanks a lot as always for the support, guys. We are at 2006 followers for tonight, so we are growing slowly and steadily. Thanks a lot once again. Keep watching also, as I said, the shorter videos, and supporting the channel as always. And I'll be back, if not tomorrow, then on Monday. And yeah, and see you soon. Bye and good night.